Welcome to Global Insiders Podcast. I am Ryan, the peripatetic one, bringing you information about opportunities relating to jobs, traveling, and any information that can elevate you to your rightful place in this thing called life. You can find more information and how-to methods on globalinsidersgroup.com. That is insiders with an S. And here is today's show.
Hello, insiders. Welcome back to another show. Welcome back. Today we have one where we are going to take on a difficult topic, but nonetheless, it's something we must do. We'll be talking about revenge porn and abuse since the lockdown. Also, we'll be looking at things such as $1 trillion world, where the money is at, who has the money, and money is always exciting, of course. And we'll be looking at how people are looking at how you work on the web. So, without further noise or talk, let's get into it. So today's lead story, as I said, is one that is a bit sad because since the lockdown, it is said that worldwide there has been an uptick in domestic violence. What has happened is that we find persons doing revenge porn also. So as I said, revenge porn is a topic I spoke about a week or 2 weeks ago, and in the UK especially, the government-funded helpline has seen a 22% rise in revenge porn since the lockdown, and this is in England. In addition to this, more than 40,000 calls and contacts were made to the National Domestic Abuse Helpline during the first 3 months of lockdown, a BBC article stated. So, as you can see, this is definitely a problem. And we can all surmise that it's because people are in closed space together. Most of us aren't rich, so you're talking about apartments. So even if you're feeling a bit out of it on a particular day, it's not like you can go to the south or the northern or the east and the west end of your building where you can leave the other person be and you can be by yourself. So and of course many people also have children, and I don't have kids, but I can only imagine how difficult or how much more difficult lockdown is with kids. And the frustration of just being together all the time and so forth. So yes, of course there's no excuse for domestic violence, but yes, there has been an uptick in this. In June, the calls were nearly 80% higher than usual, so that's a big jump, as you can see, and many women are now seeking refuge. So the women are being abused, but of course it's not only women, but women mostly are being abused. And luckily for them, in England or the UK, they have places where they can go to seek safety, and that is good. And also, so they are trying to get away from their abusive partners and go to these places. As I said, this is very sad. And I hope none of my listeners are abusing their partners. And if you are, take this as an opportunity to look into yourself and try not to do it. Try to stop. Because, yes, I'm not going to be the hard hammer type person and say, you shouldn't do it, and of course you shouldn't do it. But I mean, people get angry, and you should never take out your anger on your spouse. But in that breath, if you are doing that and you haven't been caught, or you haven't stopped, look into yourself. Think about yourself. I mean, think about you being in a situation where someone is abusing you. I mean, that's the type of thing that make people want to leave this earth, and we don't want that for anyone. So, as I said, if any of you as my listeners are doing that, please stop. And of course, anything I say to you, I would say to myself. But no, I'm not abusing my partner. So, yeah. But at the same time, I have to look into myself too. I look at my anger, and make sure that it is in check at all times. So, those are my words for you regarding that. Of course, this is not only happening in Europe, or as I said, but in places like Japan. In Japan, government is battling this with the use of a hotline, which they call DV Soudan Plus. It is available in 10 languages, so if you're in Japan, you don't have to speak Japanese to get the service. You can get the service in 10 other languages, and I'm sure English is one of them. So I'm sure maybe the top languages, when I say top languages, the languages that are spoken the most in the world, I'm sure those are among them. So abuse can take many forms, verbal, emotional. It can also be between same-sex partners. And also it can be, in cases where one partner is from another country, it can be an international situation where one person is not a local in the country, and the local is abusing the foreigner, or the foreigner is abusing the local. And of course, sexual and violent. So, yes, these are the things we have to look out for. And if we have friends who are in these situations, let's try to support them as best as we can. So, yeah, that is it. It's a tough topic, but it's one we have to deal with. And I am sure in each country there's some sort of hotline. So, if you can't support your friend, at least try to have the number for them to call, or someone who can help them. Next, who is watching and telling Santa that you have been naughty? Well, markup.org, a website, has created a wonderful tool, and it's a real-time tool that helps to inspect websites. So now you can see who is peeking over your shoulder when you work or watch videos or do anything at all that comes to your imagination online. All you have to do is enter the website and look for the backlight tool, and this tool will scan the website and reveal the user tracking technologies on other sites. So this is something you can look into for yourself, and I would say try it. I mean, I tried it with a few websites, and you can see how the websites are tracking you and so forth. So I think the big one is the keylog. If a website is tracking you with keylog, I mean, that's maybe a website you want to avoid, no matter how much it's a helpful website, because that means they can see like what passwords you're putting in and so forth, because that is keylog. So yeah, go and check out Backlight on markup.org. So of course you want to know who is getting your data, so check it out, especially if you are heading over to those exceptional sites. Okay, now we're living in an $88 trillion world. Did you know that? Did you know we're living in an $88 trillion world? Well, if you didn't, now you do. The big question is, which countries are leading the world in this with the big bucks? Which countries have the big bucks? I mean, I'm sure you could take some guesses. I'll give you 5 seconds to take a couple more guesses. Okay, let's go. Okay, good. Well, going, just in case you didn't start or you didn't try, I'm going to tell you the top 10 big, big countries in the world regarding making money. Starting from 10 going down to 1. So number 10 is Canada. And Canada, they make $1.7 trillion each year. That is their GDP. So that's the gross domestic product of the country. So if you calculate all the business and services and products and services that that take place each year, that's the amount of money that passes hand. Okay. So they are number 10, Canada. I'm surprised at that to be honest, especially seeing who is at number 9. So number 9 is Brazil with 1.8 trillion. I'm very surprised at this because the quality of life in Canada is way better than the quality of life in Brazil. I mean, you're looking at even just income and so forth, basic things like that, healthcare and so forth. I mean, Canada is really way ahead. So I'm very surprised at that. So it all goes back to show you that it's not even about the amount of money that you make. It's what you do with the money that you make. And this is also on an individual level. Okay. Next we have Italy. And Italy makes 2 trillion. And this is another surprise for me. Italy is above Canada. I mean, other than fashion and so forth. I mean, fashion and maybe fashion really. Maybe cuisine, but you don't really export cuisine. So the Italians make their money, but obviously they're doing a good job because they are at number 8 on the world list. And then we have France. France is 2.7 trillion. And yes, this is a G7 country, so yeah, was expected. Next we have the UK, United Kingdom, 2.8 trillion. And for those the UK is a country that's very special. I mean, not the biggest country in the world, and yet they once had the most land throughout the whole world because they dominated the world years ago. It just goes to show that if you invest in technology, it doesn't matter your size. It's really all about your dream and how you want to go about it. Because, as I said, they used to be the big boys. They used to be the number one on the block. And this week, though, they have been in the news for the wrong reasons. Because they are saying the UK is a safe haven. Well, not they, the United States is saying the UK is a safe haven for money laundering. And as you know, people who want to launder money are not the good guys, they are the bad guys. And UK has this image of being a country of gentlemen, ladies. So what do we say? What do we really say when we when we look at it from that perspective? We say money talks and everything else walks. So yeah, the UK, number 6. Another one that would be a bit surprising is number 5, India. So 2.9 trillion over the UK. And this is ironic, I guess, because the UK used to be in charge of India. And it's another one of those because India, I mean, the quality of life, I've never been there, but based on just looking at the news and the technology that is on display, I would say India doesn't have the quality of life like a Canada and a UK, but they make a lot of money. But then again, they have a lot of people. So I guess we have to take that into consideration also. But India is number 5 on the world richest, followed by number 4, Germany, with 3.9 trillion. So Germany another country that really hits above its weight. I mean, the Germans are in the mix for just about every and anything, and they're not a big country either, but they really do put in big numbers regarding good things on the earth. So Germany. Next, number 3. You want to take a guess? Yes. If you said Japan, you got it right. Well, Japan they make 5.1 trillion each year, and that's a big step up. As you can see. I mean, it's almost double what Germany, which is the country behind them, is making. And Germany and Japan, a country with a lot of things going on for them, good and bad. Because maybe you don't know, but they have an aging population, so their economy can collapse in the future, because we don't like taxes, but taxes help to run a country. And if you don't have people to tax, people to work and tax, I mean, your society can implode economically. So Japan is facing that situation, right? But they seem to still be ticking away. I mean, Japan was the number 2 largest economy in the world for many years. So that earlier I spoke about Germany hitting above their weight, but Japan by far is pound for pound economically, they are hitting way above their weight. So that's amazing. Now, at number 2, I wouldn't blame you if you want to say United States, but no, it's not the United States, it's China. And China has 14.3 trillion. Now, it's interesting. China is a country that their economy has grown for decades now. And that is not an easy feat in this world. I mean, many countries would like to see 1 to 2, even 3% growth. But China has consistently grown for many, many years now. And it's amazing to see that Japan is behind them with 5.1 trillion, and they are ahead with 14.3 trillion. So it's a big difference, the size of their economy and the size of the Japanese economy. But the thing with China is that you have to also remember that they have a large population. So the quality of life in China has been increasing, but China still has have segments of their country that is still very poor. So yes, it's good that they have grown, but also you can see that they still need more growth. And the thing is, they are still growing. So they are one of the few countries that's still growing. So who knows, in the future they might get that number 1 spot. But 2020 should see some sort of decline in the growth of their economy, because, as you know, COVID has messed up a lot of things. So let's wait and see. Number 1. Okay, let's see if you got it right. Number 1. Who is number 1? Well, I would love to say my home country, but no, it's not. It's the United States of America with $21.4 trillion in terms of GDP each year. So yes, the United States of America, 21 trillion. I mean, it's a decent lead over China, but I mean, it's nothing like what it used to be. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. But the big difference with the United States and China is the population size. So it's more money to share up with less people. So that is always a good thing. If you can find yourself in that situation wherever, that's a good one, having more money to share with less people. Yes, we are capitalists after all on this show. I mean, not the gung-ho, one man win everything type of capitalism, but if you work hard, you should be rewarded type of capitalism, which is the right way. So it should be noted though that this is delayed info as it comes from the World Bank, and they do their data and research only once a year. So this is from 2019, as I said just earlier. 2020 should see some sort of decline in the world economy, but yes. So also we should definitely look forward to that, okay? Because it's going to be a contraction for sure. And next week I will do some self-indulgence, as I will be looking at the top podcasts throughout the world. So yes, hopefully we'll be on it. But yes, we'll be looking at the top podcasts throughout the world, each country. And of course, I'll probably just give you the top 10, but I'll give you a summary of what that world is all about. So today there are 19,069 cybersecurity jobs on Monster. Get yourself together and start training. Thank you very much. See you.
Thanks for listening today. I hope you are inspired. You can find more helpful and motivational material at globalinsidersgroup.com. That is, insiders with an S. You can also keep in touch at Global Insiders on Instagram. See you next time, but remember, you can be your own superhero. Bye.